Hello, book lovers. I'm Kiki, and welcome back to my little corner on the internet. It's lovely to have you here. So, this is going to be part 3 or episode 3 of my TBR Takedown Chronicles. But it is also going to be part 1 of my sort of read it or unhaul it episodes, because I'm probably going to have to do a couple more. I would say, right now, 20-ish books that I have a feeling I am not necessarily going to like, and that I should just give a try, see if I'm vibing with it, and if not, DNFing it, and then just like putting it on my Unhaul shelf, which is down on the bottom. You can't actually see it right now. But that is sort of the plan. The thing is also that I'm starting this now because one of the books on that list is actually on my November TBR, and I do want to try to get these down. So this is Edinburgh, A History of the City by Michael Fry, and I bought this while I was in Edinburgh, and I still thought I liked nonfiction. I like certain nonfiction, but it's really just a handful of things that I actually do sort of like to read. So yes, this will be our first victim of the Read It or Unhaul It challenge? I don't even know. And I thought I would also make it fun, and I have a little jar with all of the books that I think I should read or unhaul in this, and we'll just, once I figured out what I'm doing with this, we're just gonna pick the next one like this. Basically a TBR jar, just a read it or unhaul it jar. I know it's not a lot, but I also currently really only have the books in there that I think I'm not really going to like, but I don't like just getting rid of books if I don't at least give them a chance. So I'm gonna give them a chance, and we're gonna figure out together if I still enjoy like nonfiction or some other stuff that I bought. Mind you, at this point, I actually have like 2 or 3 more books that technically should go in here, but I haven't made the papers yet, so whoopsie daisy. I might just add them if I feel like I'm in the mood to see if I actually do like them. And if not, we'll see what happens. You know, we're just gonna go with the vibes. But I am going to start this. I honestly don't think that I will get far into this before DNFing it, because I don't think I can actually be bothered to read this. Let's give this a try, see how it goes, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, I can't do it. I can't. I am like 11 pages in. And like, I bought this book because I wanted to know more about the city that I was living in, right? And it's like, it seems to have had such a rich history, and I do think Edinburgh has an amazing history in the sense of its richness and whatnot, but we're talking about the Ice Age and the Stone Age and the Bronze Age and whatnot in here in the first chapter, and I'm skimming this, right? Like, I'm not even reading this. I couldn't tell you much about any of this except for there was a guy named Abercrombie, and we're talking about Bronze and Iron Age and whatnot, and we're literally talking about the sediments in the soil. Like, it's wonderful that there was a volcanic eruption. Big surprise. Like, what? This was like such a long time ago. It is completely irrelevant. I didn't think I'd DNF it. No, I knew I'd DNF it this quickly. I had hoped that I would actually find this interesting. It's like, don't get me wrong. This is kind of interesting, but I'd rather watch a documentary about the city or just about, like, Scotland than read this, because this would probably take me around 15 hours to read. Because this would be such slow going and I can't be bothered. So, DNF number 1. Now we gotta choose another book. Didn't think it would be happening so soon, but, you know, I'm not gonna complain. Okay. Let's do this. I am going to let you look first. I don't know if you can actually read this. And I also don't know if this is going to be a German or an English one. Oh, this was the wrong way around. It is a new chapter, which is actually a German book. And it is a new chapter, My London Bookshop by Marnie Schaefers and Schaefers. No idea why I pronounce it English, but I know I said I'd unhaul it, but this is technically a book that my mom read. Like, I bought it for myself and I was like, here, you read it first. So I don't know if I would necessarily unhaul it if I did not like it, but it is our next read. So, well, one of our next reads. I have so many things I'm currently reading. I just want to try to get some books off of my physical TBR, especially ones that I'm unsure about. So I don't want to start it right now because, I don't know, it might be cursed trying to unhaul right now. So it is time to continue with my DNFing, potentially. At least the kind that is intentional. So I did just start reading a new chapter. I am 3 chapters in, page 46, and I have to admit that I'm very unsure about this book. I am currently not necessarily liking our 2 main characters. It's dual point of view, and I am not connecting with this at all, which is a little problematic because this is written in first person. So we are quite literally inside our characters' heads. And yeah, I am going to give this a couple more chapters to see if I like it or not. And if it gets better, we are right at the beginning of the story. And I have to admit, one of, like, our female protagonist's dad has just died, and she inherits his little bookshop in London, which is called A New Chapter. Which makes sense now. And she is a, like, highly sensitive person, which has also already been mentioned, like, 4 times now. And that's something that I'm realizing annoys me in books. I've seen this recently with, I forgot the book that I read, but if something is stated or mentioned over and over and over again, it annoys me. Like, I think the book was called A Whispering Dark, where it was constantly said that she's made of glass. Here it keeps being like, oh my god, this is so much for me, I'm so sensitive, I'm whatnot. And not sure how I feel about that. I think I would have actually preferred it if it was shown rather than told. So those are my initial thoughts. I'm going to continue reading, and I'm going to see if this is going to be another DNF, because if this video ends up just being DNFs, I don't know if I should be happy about that or not, but We will see. I'm just really not vibing with this right now. And this ended up being on my December TBR through the TBR wheel, so I thought I'd start with it, and I think that's actually kind of funny. But it's just, we will see. I mean, I wouldn't mind because there's so many books that I need to get through this month, and I also want to get a couple more books for this video, like pull them or start on some that I think I might DNF through experience now, but we will see. So I'll get back to reading and I will check in with you in either 50 pages or when I have decided to DNF it, or if I get super into it in like an hour or so. I don't know. We will see. Okay, I have been toying DNFing this, like with the thought of DNFing this for like the past few minutes, but our female protagonist just said something about Feyre and Rhysand in Agatha, and I thought that was really funny because I haven't read Agatha yet, right? But we know. And I just thought that was really funny. Like, Sarah J. Maas has made it into a random German book, and I love that for her. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this chapter, which is a couple more pages long, and then potentially the next chapter, and honestly, I think I'm gonna DNF it. I'm just not vibing with it, and there's no point in continuing with this if I'm not vibing with it. So, I have made it to page 82, 83, which is where chapter 8 starts, and I am making the executive decision of DNFing this because it is just not gripping me in the way that I would want it to hold my interest. A big clue is that with every chapter start, I check how many more pages are in the chapter because I just want to be done with it. And not in the good way. Like, not in the way, oh my god, I want to know what's going to happen. I honestly don't care. Which is not what I want from my books. And I need to get better at realizing that and DNFing this. I'm also DNFing it now because I know myself. And if I end up continuing this for a few more chapters to see, oh, you know what, maybe I do want to read it, I will find something about this book that I say I like, or I tell myself that I like, just to then having to finish it and then giving it a 2 point something. And I don't want to waste my time like that. Like, what's the point? So, book 2, a new chapter, My London Bookshop by Marnie Schaefers. I am sorry, but is going to be a DNF. And yeah, honestly, I'm not mad about it. I've had this for so long. My mom read it. She liked it, which I'm happy for her that she did. I'm not necessarily. I mean, maybe I would need a little bit more time to get more into the book to then like it, but honestly, my time's too precious. It'll take me another 2.5-ish hours to finish this, maybe 3, and I can't be bothered. So instead, let's pick the next book. Okay. I don't know if this... Is this the... I think this should be the right way around. Nullzeit. Great. Another German book. Another German book that I've started and technically already soft DNF'd. Because I tried. I tried the first chapter, like, probably a year ago. And I was like, nah, it's not for me right now. So I have 2 options now. Either I say, okay, I DNF this, it's fine, and I'm going to move over to a book that is also on my TBR for this month, and I think I will actually like. Or do I try reading this book and see if maybe I will just DNF another one today? And I don't know which one to choose. So I'm gonna think on it. But the next book that I will read that I will read to see if I DNF it, is Nullzeit. This I am just going to put with my mum's books. So if she wants to reread it, she can. If not, I will talk to her and maybe I will donate it or put it in a little free library or give it to my local library. I don't know what I'm going to do with the books that I DNF and Unhaul yet. Okay, so I have started Nullzeit by Ulice, and I have made it, let me check, like 34, 35 pages into the book, and I'm currently unsure about it, mainly because I'm not sure if I'm vibing with the writing style. I think that the story itself could be quite interesting, but I find it difficult to focus on it right now. So I am definitely going to stop for potentially today. I might read a couple more pages later, but this is probably going to take me a little while to get through just because I probably won't be able to read too much at once. The storyline seems to be going in a certain direction, which I already know, which is kind of annoying. It's at this point, I wonder if I've read too many books to really be surprised by them, or if I just pick up on things way too quickly, or I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I'm generally really clueless, so not sure what's happening. Okay, so it is the next day, and I have continued with this for another chapter, and I have decided to DNF it. I have sort of 2 major problems with this book. For one, I am not getting along with the writing style, which I think is probably going to be a very common theme amongst the books that I'm like reading or DNFing when it comes to my German books, because as I'm thinking about it, I need my German books to be written a certain way to actually enjoy them. And those are probably mostly going to be YA fantasy that are going to check those boxes. So we will see. And then the second one is that I am actually finding all of the characters absolutely obnoxious. It is like
We're also jumping in time very randomly, and sometimes I'm like, okay, where am I at? What am I doing? So unfortunately, this is a no. I also didn't want to make a decision until I had talked to the friend that gifted it to me, because she said that it is actually one of her favorite books, which I can see why, definitely. It's just not for me, especially because my reading tastes have been changing so much. And I am definitely seeing this now that I'm actively DNFing books and making sure that I only read the books that bring me joy, that spark joy, you know? So this is not one of them. And she was like, you know what, that's fair. Don't force yourself to read it. And maybe in a couple of years, when you're maybe back to reading more of these, like, I honestly don't even know what this is. So this is like a murder something mystery. I don't even know. But yeah, I'm not vibing with it right now. So it's a soft DNF for now, although it's probably more of a hard DNF. Just I might try it again in a few years, if that makes sense. I don't know. But I think for this video, I am going to try to read or DNF one more book. And I need to choose that book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one out of the jar. But if I am not vibing with that one right now, then I am already eyeing a book that I want to try or DNF. So it's also one that wouldn't take me too long to actually read if I did decide to finish it. So it's also not in here, so I can't actually pull it. But that is what we are going to see right now, if what I'm thinking about reading is a vibe. Okay. I don't know what it says. No, you know why? It's another German one, and it's in German, like it's a thriller. It's technically in translation, so I can't really say that it's German, but I'm just gonna do another one and see. Oh my god, this is their Schattenmesser, isn't it? We're not doing that right now. I just realized how many of these books are German. Okay, this one fell out, so I'm just gonna... Nope, not doing it. I'm gonna get the book that I'm gonna try or DNF. Look, it's my video, it's my rules, I'm sorry, but I am going to see if I actually like Once Upon a Dream, A Twisted Tale, because I wasn't too happy with the Aladdin Twisted Tale, and this is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, or like twisted retelling. So I'm interested to see how this goes. So I am going to start Once Upon a Dream, A Twisted Tale by Liz Braswell, which is part of the Twisted Tale series from Disney. And this one is based on Sleeping Beauty, and the question is, what if the Sleeping Beauty never woke up? I am about 54 pages into the book, and I am a bit more intrigued by it.
Then I was with the other one that I listened to, so that is a good sign. I'm currently checking how many pages this book has. Why is it so much? It's got 445 pages. Anyway, I am enjoying this a bit more. Like I said, I am going to start preparing lunch and probably continue listening to it because, once again, I got the audiobook. And yeah, continue. I'm a bit. So the thing is with this, there, at least for me, it seems more intrigue. There's more questioning as to what is happening. Hello. So I have an update. I made it almost halfway through Once Upon a Dream, A Twisted Tale, and I think it was like 40 something. Actually, I can't tell you, it doesn't show me, but I DNF'd it. I think that Liz Braswell's writing just isn't for me, which is fine. I'm disappointed because I really, really loved the villain tales by Disney. Like, I read the Beast's story, Ursula's story, Maleficent's story, and I'm missing one. I forgot which one was in the like 4-book box set that I got. And I loved those. Like, they were great. They were also short, which I think was a plus. But anyway, I DNF'd this because I was feeling the same way that I was feeling about A Whole New World, and I just wasn't vibing with it. I wasn't really that invested. And it's just after a time, it was getting annoying. Like, I don't know if it was the pacing or the writing or the storyline itself, but it just, I don't know, it didn't fit for me. So I DNF'd it. It's not for me. And I also don't think that I will try any of the others, simply because I didn't like the first one. I finished that one though. I did not enjoy this one. DNF'd it. I don't think that this writing will suddenly give me more than those two if I read a later one. Especially the next one would have been so cool because it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And then there's also a Mulan one, which would have been so cool, but I just don't think they're for me. And that's okay. But I do think I am going to finish this video here because that's 4 books that I got off of my physical TBR by DNFing this. I cannot believe that out of the 4 books that I started in this video, I didn't finish a single one. And technically, I actually DNF'd more books than this. Since starting the video, I just wasn't reading them like for this video, and now I'm thinking like I should have. But I don't have the books with me, but I am just quickly going to recap. So anyway, in this video, I DNF'd Edinburgh, A History of the City by Michael Fry. It was just like fact after fact after fact. It wasn't really interesting to me like at all. And we started so late in history that there was no way to connect to anything that was being said. And afterwards, I did look at some Goodreads reviews and they were all like, yeah, no, this is just like, basically, here is what I researched a little bit. Like, you know, so not really my thing. Then I started and DNF'd A New Chapter, My London Bookshop by Manu Schäfers, which was a German book. And that one, I just wasn't vibing with the characters. I felt the characters were a bit obnoxious and they felt really young. But from what I've seen in the first few chapters, like I think I didn't quite make it to 100 pages. But they seemed so young, but some of the stuff that I think they had to deal with was probably it would have been nicer if they had been in their like mid to late 20s. And I also wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of the writing. Then Nullzeit by Julie C. Very similar problem as with A New Chapter. I was not vibing with the characters. Two of the characters were annoying me so much because they were, in fact, in like their 30s and 50s or something, but they were acting like children. And it's just like I feel like it is relatively obvious as to what would have continued to happen, especially with the little blurb at the back of the book. And that just wasn't it for me, like at all. And I don't know. Also the way that we were switching in time, just for a paragraph within a chapter or something, it wasn't for me. Some people love the book, and I understand why. Like, I can see why people like it. It's not mine, and that's fine. And then this one. And I couldn't connect to this at all. I love Disney movies growing up. Honestly, I have to admit, I still love them. But I think a lot of this is definitely the writing for me. I just couldn't do it. And yeah, some things in this book I actually liked and enjoyed. It's just, enjoyed is a big word. I didn't hate it. But just overall, not something that I want to spend another 2-something hours on. And I think that is how I will be continuing to do like my DNFs. Can I see myself actually spending these hours on these books? Because if I can't, I shouldn't read them. And I didn't read them in this video, but if you've seen my November wrap-up, you will have seen that I also DNF'd A Tale of Two Cities. And that was mainly because I was not understanding the writing. I started it and I was like, what is happening? I am so confused. And I know it's a classic, but I don't want to be that confused when reading a classic, you know? So, A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens was unfortunately a DNF. I will see if I will try that again at a later date. I don't know. And then I DNF'd the audiobook of The Traveling Cat Chronicles. I just couldn't deal with the fact that it was written from the perspective of the cat. And this is like a novella that comes before like a series or something, but it's Midnight Prince by, I didn't know how to pronounce it in my November wrap-up. I still do not know how to pronounce it. Looks like this. My goodness. There we go. And I DNF'd that also mostly because the writing and the characters. No. I need to be able to like connect or like at least one of the two. If I don't vibe with the writing and I don't vibe with the characters, that's just like, I can't read it then. There's no point. But yeah, that is technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books off my physical TBR by DNFing if I count A Tale of Two Cities. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be prouder. Until even a few weeks ago, DNFing was so difficult for me, and I am so proud of myself for actually doing that. And yeah, I will put all of these on my Unhaul shelf, except for A Tale of Two Cities because it's too pretty. And then once those shelves are full, I will see if I will put them into a little free library, donate it to my local library, or donate it to the charity event that will be happening at the end of next year. And yeah, I want to know now, did you read any of these and what did you think? Because I want to know if it's just me that couldn't connect to any of these characters or the writing, or do you have some of them on your TBR shelf? Because if you do, I'm sorry. I hope this doesn't necessarily make it so you don't want to try it, because I'm all for trying a book, but just don't finish it if you don't like it, basically. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed me DNFing all of these books, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!